Hey everybody, this is Kim Danke coming to you from the Shibboleth Studios in Kennesaw, Georgia. And we are here with Cindy Cantrell, and we are excited to share her Shibboleth success story. Hey Cindy, how are you doing today?
I am very well, Kim. It is very nice to meet you finally, at least through technology anyway.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story today. We certainly appreciate that very, very much. And if you don't mind, I'll just ask you a few questions. In the end, I'm going to show that picture that you sent to me the other day, and I'll let you tell us about that before and after picture, okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. So when did weight become an issue for you?
About 3 years ago in January of 2017, I believe that's three, yes. I ended up, after a routine dental examination, they wouldn't actually see me because, as you know, they take blood pressure in the dental office now, and my blood pressure was extremely high. So they said, we can't see you. You need to go to the emergency room. So I ended up in the emergency room. And of course, anytime you go in with blood pressure issues, they rush you. The very first thing they do is they do an EKG, and they sit and triage you and make sure that, because blood pressure could be a heart related problem, they do all of the stuff that they find, necessary to do to prevent the heart attack from happening if there's a case of a heart attack or whatever. My blood pressure when I left the dentist's office was 210 over 110. And right. And by the time I got to the emergency room, it was lower than that because, of course, anxiety. It did fall down below a level to where they didn't have to give me any IV medication. They were afraid if they gave me anything IV, it would drop it too low and I could pass out, or, several other things that I didn't need. But as I was sitting there in the triage room, the chair that you sit in actually weighs you. And I wasn't aware of that. While they were taking my blood pressure, the chair actually weighs. And I looked up on the screen. And when I looked up on the screen, I weighed 348 pounds. And sitting there with the extra large BP cuff on my arm, and my blood pressure high, and then having to go through all of the procedures with the EKGs and all that kind of stuff, having all the leads and everything, I was terrified. I lost my husband in 2011 and really felt like I didn't want to leave my children and grandchildren orphans, and knew that I was the only one that could do anything about it. So after another trip to the emergency room, I decided it was time for me to be proactive. I was on 3 blood pressure medications, and it was just keeping my blood pressure down. I have something that they call white coat syndrome, and you're probably familiar with it. It's never normal when I go to the doctor's office, regardless of what I do. But it really got it down to the point to where they weren't concerned when I was at the doctor's office. And I lost a little weight on my own. And then June of that year, I had my hairdresser introduce me to Shibboleth. And on June the 15th, I joined, and I had dropped 62 pounds in the first about 30 to 40 days. I dropped 66 pounds. And over the course of about 11 months, I dropped 162 pounds.
Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love that. That is awesome. So I'm writing that down so I can put that in the little blurb when we do this little promotion of your success story. Well, I know that you've just told us your light bulb moment. Your light bulb moment was sitting in that chair, and that you didn't know was weighing you, and realizing how much you weighed and all of those things. So that was your light bulb moment to get started. And you know what? You're the second person that I have talked to in the past 2 days that said their hairdresser introduced them to Shibboleth. So yay for those hairdressers.
Right. Well, she said, I know that you're trying to, well, I have naturally curly hair, and I had started cutting calories back and swimming about 3 times a week in an effort to get some of the weight off and to get my body moving, because my joints were in horrible shape. And sad to say, that damage is done. And even now at a lighter weight, I still have issues with my knees, but you live with that. And I live with it much better being lighter. But it just made sense. And I can remember the second light bulb moment that I had when I was actually in my car on the way to the gym, and it suddenly dawned on me that I could do that I could do Shibboleth. That was something that I could adopt as a lifestyle, live with it, be successful with it, and be okay. And I remember sitting at a red light and just squalling, just crying. I mean, I was by the time I got to the gym, I was total wreck. And I never thought that I would be in Wonderland again, not ever. And I am well under Wonderland now, and I don't ever intend on going back. And to say that this lifestyle has saved my life is probably the understatement of the century. I would not be here with the way my blood pressure was going. I would not be here had I not gotten the nudge from my hairdresser and the support and just everything that Travis and Sasha and everybody involved with Shibboleth has done over the past 2 years of my life.
Well, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Well, so before this, did you have any other previous diet attempts?
I did. Basically, it was starvation. You know, I've never been a big sweet eater anyway. My downfall is bread and my downfall is bread and salty things. And so biggest moment was going into the Mexican restaurant and staying away from the chips.
Oh, yeah.
Or going to an Italian restaurant and staying away from the pasta or the fresh breadsticks. That's where my problem lies. I can stay away from cake and candy and junk all day long because it doesn't smell. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can walk past it and it's out of sight, out of mind. But with fresh bread is baking, or you smell fresh cinnamon rolls, or I had to stop. And I still do. I work at a local school, and I still tell them that they cannot bring pizza into my office. Get it out, because I can't. There's a lot that I can do and I can walk away from, but that is a trigger for me, so I have to be very careful. But I did. I eventually cut back on everything that wasn't good. Tried to eat better, and then decided after it was so difficult to lose 20 pounds. I mean, it took everything, and I was starving. I mean, I was hangry all the time, and I couldn't do that. And I was like, this is not sustainable. This is not something that I can continue to do. And of course, after that, you fall back to your old ways. And that's why this program is so enlightening. I was never hungry, because I'm going to tell you something, fat girl in me will eat and will continue to eat. And I don't know if it's the age that we came up in, where we were shamed for not clearing our plates, or it was the good Southern food that we were brought up on, but I can eat and I love food. And and I discovered and was able to look at myself in the mirror and say, Cindy, you have food addiction and you need to stop. You know, and that only increased when my husband died. Food was comfort. It was easy. I could grab, a bag of potato chips and set them here by the computer, and it was comforting, and it was there, and it just about killed me.
Yeah, it is amazing. The things that we go to for comfort can end up just about killing us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Well, so what do you think is the difference that Shibboleth makes, the way the program works? What has been what's been the light bulb in Shibboleth for you that says, yeah, I can do this sustainable for the rest of my life?
Well, first of all, it's practical. I can go to the grocery store now and I can pick up the same foods that I enjoyed, the right ones. Like, I can have my bread, I can have my toast and jam in the morning if I want to, because I have the right bread and I have the right jelly, and I know what I need to eat it with. So I'm not taking away from what I was able to eat. I am changing it to what I can have that is going to be better for me. And so therefore I don't have what everybody is coined and what Travis has coined as FOMO. I don't have a fear of missing out because I'm not missing anything. Did I miss having that great big slice of pecan pie at Christmas time? Actually, no, I didn't, because I had it. And then the next day I got right back on my Shibboleth boat and I swam right back out, and the weight that I gained because of the glucose and the water that I retained was gone in a day or so. And that's what's the beautiful thing about Shibboleth is you can have those things that you love even on a daily basis and be perfect. But even when you have a holiday, you can jump right back on that boat the very next day. And as long as you do what you know you're supposed to do, that holiday doesn't do anything to you except give you the ability to enjoy your life as you've known it this whole time.
Yeah, I love that part. I love the fact that before, if I couldn't be perfect, I'd just throw my hands up in the air and say, forget it, I can't keep up with this. And then I'd just do whatever I pleased. Well, now I know how to have that balanced life and have holidays and enjoy them on those special days where we're supposed to celebrate things. But then on those other days, I have my perfect days. I love the balance that Shibboleth provides.
Absolutely. And that was the only thing. Like I said, if I hadn't seen results, I would have been the first person to jump off of the boat and jump right back into the frying pan and probably not be here talking to you today. But it is sustainable. It is something that I've been able to live with. It is something that I've lost now a grand total, and I'm on maintenance now, 186 pounds. I feel 25 years younger, even at 53. I feel better than I did 10 years ago, and certainly better than 3 years ago. And I am at my best person. Am I continuing to lose weight? Yeah. I tell everybody that I've probably lost at least 25 pounds more, but it's that same 5 pounds. I'll gain it and then I'll lose it back. And I said, but isn't that what maintenance really is? Maintenance is gaining that little bit of weight when you have your holiday and then taking it right back off.
Right. Yeah. There's going to be that natural fluctuation, and we just have to have that. I draw the line in the sand number that if we happen to see that on the scale, you're like, I'm going the other way. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So what are your favorite things to eat on Shibboleth besides the bread?
My favorite things. I am a huge seafood eater, and it was always good to know that when I did go to the ocean, I could enjoy my favorite seafood treats. I love raw shrimp. Bull shrimp, and I love raw oysters, and so you can have those, and I was able to eat them. I'm a huge Mexican fan, and I know that I could still go to the Mexican restaurant and I can still have my fajitas with the appropriate wrap, or just eat the meat, with raw bell peppers, or, and I can still have my salsa and I can still have my cheese dip. I don't have to have those chips. I'm not a big fan of the bonitos, so I have them bring me raw bell peppers, but I've taken tortillas, the approved tortillas, and cut them into strips and put them in my air fryer and made my own chips and took them in there with me. It's all about adapting to the lifestyle that's going to be healthy and sustainable for you. This program is so wide open with everything that you could possibly want, that you can make it your own. And that is what is so neat and so individualized about this, is that you can take it as big as it is, make it yours, and keep it and thrive.
And that's awesome. That is exactly why it's called My Shibboleth, because everybody kind of can make it be their own. And one of the things that I love about this program is we can take absolutely anybody on any budget and show them how to do it. It's great. So everybody can do the program, which is awesome. Well, do you exercise at all, or?
I do. Well, not now, but I still go to the gym and I swim 3 times a week. I do 10,000 steps a day.
Awesome.
That's usually my norm. Here lately, because of the atmosphere outside, I've walked around outside. I've probably not met my step goals outside because I'm trying to be socially distant. I have an elderly father that I'm trying to look after, and I need to keep myself clean at this point in my life in order to be able to take care of him. But and I'm in the process of moving. You see all those boxes behind me? I am in the process of moving. So that is my exercise, carrying boxes up downstairs, and trying not to tear up knee joints that are already suffering because of the weight loss and the weight gain. But yeah, I still exercise as much as I can possibly do it right now, inside, outside. I do swim at the gym when I'm able to get into the gym. But I didn't for like the first 9 months of the program. I didn't exercise because my body couldn't. And that was the beautiful thing about it. I didn't exercise and the weight fell off. It was drastic. And I had people asking me if I was sick, if what was going on. I mean, it was just, and then all of a sudden everybody's going, wow, what has happened to her? She's melting. And I was like, it's because I'm doing this correctly. And even now, the loose skin issues that people with drastic weight loss have had, I don't have that problem because you lose it correctly and your tissues automatically tighten as you're losing. If you don't lose muscle mass, you don't lose as much of your elasticity in your skin. And drinking plenty of water also has something to do with that as well. It's just a well-rounded program that I am very, very blessed that God led me to.
Yes, me too. That is awesome. So, well, I hear some motivation in you. You've already said your motivation. Your motivation is, to be healthy for your dad and your children and your grandchildren. So I know that's your motivation to keep going. And so your lab results, you were sitting in that doctor's office and your blood pressure was extremely high. Tell me how your lab results are now.
Well, my lab results when I went to the doctor, because they sent me from the emergency room and told me to make an appointment with my regular gen ed doctor, and I went, and he did blood work on me, and my cholesterol was up. My lipid panel was bad. My fasting blood sugar was 130. So he wanted to put me on more medication, and I was like, let's hold off on that for just a few minutes, okay? I'm happy to report that I am no longer on any blood pressure meds, and my blood pressure runs 96/68. I took it just a little while ago because I'm still very much taking it at least twice a day just to make sure. My fasting blood sugar is 75, and my cholesterol panel was less than 180. It was actually 176. So I couldn't be happier. The doctor's office, as a matter of fact, the first time I walked in, after I had lost all the weight, I set off all of the bells and whistles when they pulled my account up because she put my weight in, and she goes, do you realize that according to my scale, you've lost 168 pounds? And I laughed at her and I said, well, actually, it's just a little more than that. And she goes, what have you done? And I was like, she said, are you ill? Not anymore. I'm not. I said it was Shibboleth. And of course, that opened up a conversation with what this is all about. And she was like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't pretend to understand. She said, but it is working. Don't stop.
Yeah, that's always great to hear. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad your lab results have improved too. Well, I'm going to show you a picture, and I will let you tell us all about this picture, this before and after picture. And let me get to it. So tell us about this picture.
All right. Well, that picture on the left, my before picture, was taken in Indianapolis, Indiana. I went to see Oiler Stadium and with some very good friends. As you can see, I was heavy. This is not even at my heaviest.
Okay.
But I probably topped the scales about 328, 330 in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
My knees hurt most of the time. I, of course, was winded everywhere I walked. I walked with limp from my knees, of course, being hurt and being under the stress of all of the extra weight. You can't see my eyes when I smile. So, yeah, the picture on the right was taken in January. I received my first belt in karate, broke my first set of boards. Karate has been an amazing outlet for me. I've been able to get some mobility back in my joints. I've been able to get some more flexibility. I love it. It's a great outlet for me. And if you look really closely at that gray shirt that's underneath my gi, that would be a Shibboleth shirt under there. It's just not even the same person. It's just not. The person on the left had no self-confidence and no self-motivation. Basically, I was just existing. The person on the right, as you can see, has many accomplishments and a lot left to do. I'm continually improving in my agility and my endurance and my longevity and all that kind of stuff, and continuing to eat the way I'm supposed to, and continuing to work hard so I can play harder.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for sharing your story. We really appreciate you very, very much, and we're just so thankful that you've taken the information and applied it, because that's the most important thing. People can know the information, but you have to apply it for it to work. And you've done
Well,
that.
I have a saying that I've told my sisters that have also been interested in the program. You have to be married to it. You can't date it. You know, it has to be something that comes from within, because the only change that you can make has to be from in you. You can't, nobody else can fix that for you. You have to fix it for yourself. And the greatest battle that you have is the one between your ears. You know, once you fight that battle and once you win that battle, and I'm not saying that I don't battle it every day. We have to, because we come in contact with stuff every day that could derail us. You have to continue to have your why and continue to push in that direction to be the best person that you can be. And that is what makes you successful. You make yourself successful. You know, the program is nothing without you doing it. You got to do it. You got to be married to it. And I am married to it.
That's awesome. Well, we're so glad you are, and I am too. And I'm just glad that we get to know each other through this program. I think some of the most important things that I've gotten out of it, besides weight loss, are the friends that I get to know through the program, because we know we're going to do this together forever, for a long, long time. So it's not a short-term thing that we're doing.
It's a huge support system, and you need to use it. You know, when you're down or when you're out or when you've fallen off the wagon, you need to reach out. And I encourage everybody to reach out to the Facebook page, to Brooklyn and all of the other mentors, and say, I need help, or help me, or keep me encouraged. Because that is the only way that we're going to get to where we're going, and we're all going in the same direction, and that is an amazing thing about the whole thing. I've met so many friends. I have kept so many contacts. I have a ton of contacts, and even me at the place that I am now in my life, I can say, if I am feeling horrid, I know that if I reach out, somebody's going to immediately reach back and say, you know what? You can do this. This is not hard. You can and will accomplish it.
Well, that is awesome. Well, thank you again for sharing your story with us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the effort, and we just love you very much, and we just thank you.
We love you too, and y'all make sure that you keep your connections and keep the program strong, and know that we got your back 100%.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you have a blessed day, and we'll talk with you later.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.